What up, guys? I'm former UFC fighter and current owner of Easton Training Center, Eliot Marshall.
I'm Scott Nickel, teaching pastor at Flatirons Community Church.
Scott, am I fucking going to hell?
Yes.
Welcome to the Saint
And the Sinner.
This episode of The Saint and Sinner is brought to you by Atlas Flooring, serving Northern Colorado for any of your flooring, cabinet, or countertop needs. Yeah. We're the first official sponsor of The Saint and the Sinner.
Fuck yeah, man.
Nice. I want a t-shirt.
All your business owners, this could be you. You could just be getting shout-outs every week.
Can I? Do you
Free,
guys have...
even. Free.
Yeah, free.
Actually, just to support us. Like, Leister Bowling II will be hitting you up after this episode and you don't even know it.
That's called forced sponsorship. You just forced that on us.
You could have said it a little louder, though. He's kind of being a pussy.
He's got a mic right here. He's trying to get his radio voice.
This is true.
Yeah. So, hey,
I don't need to talk loud to convince people I'm not a pussy.
I like where this is going already. So this is Saint and Sinner. I don't even know what episode we are now. So everybody, this is Leister Bowling III, right?
Yes, sir.
The third. Eliot Marshall and Scott Nickel. So
What's up, guys?
why don't you guys kind of talk about your relationship? You know, how did you guys get to know each other?
I didn't like Eliot.
What a shock.
We met like
What a shock.
a fight aways or something somewhere, and it turned. I think we gambled on every fight every time we see.
Every time we saw each other.
we
But so it's
mad
more
at
than
them.
that. Hold on. We just by blood don't like each other. Leister's a wrestler and I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, and just naturally wrestlers.
Eliot doesn't
jiu-jitsu-
like white people.
Yeah, there is that.
No,
So he,
Please don't start that here, bro.
So he
Have you read the Facebook page, man? Have you read the Facebook page? Please don't start that.
Eliot doesn't like white people, so he hangs out in Boulder a
I hang
lot
out
and
in
does
Boulder.
jiu-jitsu.
I wouldn't say that wrestlers don't like jiu-jitsu players. I think it's the other way around.
I agree with that.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu guys
Players
don't like
being
wrestlers.
dominated by wrestlers.
No, because jiu-jitsu guys, can be late. No, I'm gonna say it. We can be a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
You know.
You said it best on The Ultimate Fighter, actually. You said, wrestlers try to find their way through a wall. Jiu-jitsu guys, we'll find a way around it. I'm like, yeah, because you're a pussy.
And I'm not gonna disagree with you a lot of the times.
It's the Bruce Lee water thing.
No, it's just that jiu-jitsu guys have, it's okay to be on the bottom, and you can deal with most people, but then all of a sudden you get this wrestler who just doesn't ever go to the bottom,
Mhm.
and just beats you up, and when you're not very good,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know, I didn't learn how to deal with a wrestler well until I was a black belt, so I'm talking a decade,
Good long while. Yeah.
but now I love them, because I feel like I embrace wrestlers, because I feel like they've made my game so much better that I'm like, oh yes, and
Well, in MMA, you have to deal
you
with
have
a
to
lot
deal with
more.
them so you learn,
Yeah.
And now I beat the fuck out of wrestlers,
Yeah.
and I beat the fuck out of wrestlers using a lot of wrestling, with jiu-jitsu.
He had a really
That
good
Leister
coach.
taught you.
That Leister taught me. I
Yeah.
won't say a lot of it's not because of Leister,
Yeah.
And I just was able to figure out ways to implement that into jiu-jitsu, and now I beat the fucking piss out of wrestlers with wrestling, and you should watch them fold.
Yeah.
When they fold, it's so much nicer.
So
Because
Leister.
they're like, this pussy-ass jiu-jitsu guy just beat the shit out of me with wrestling, And I'm
Without
like, yes, I did.
without
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
without you. Yeah, I was like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
But Eliot's kind of like a fungus. He's like ringworm. He grows on you.
That's what his
And
wife
you just
says.
get-
My wife
you
says
Did
just
you
get
steal
used
that
to it.
from his wife, or
I
did
don't
she
know.
steal it from you?
I don't know. I think I always said he's like ringworm. You just get used to it. You kind of embrace it. I
Yeah.
cleaned a little Nigerol, put it on there, we're done. Yeah,
So you grew up out here, though, right?
I grew up in Lions.
Yeah, and you wrestled there, and you were state champion, weren't you?
Yeah, 3 times.
3-time state champ. And so then, where'd you go to college?
I wrestled at a small college out in Nebraska. I started off at University of Southern Colorado, CSU Pueblo now.
Yeah.
And they dropped our wrestling program after my redshirt year, like the end of July.
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so then I ended up at a small Lutheran college in Nebraska.
Yeah,
Dana
Lutheran College.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Like that. Dana College. It's out of business now.
Didn't
Didn't have a lot.
I don't know how. They don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
either,
all
other
these
than it
damn
was a
religious,
shit.
all these damn religious institutions get to just take all this money and
Yeah.
pay
Schools
no
have to pay
taxes.
taxes.
Well, they went out of business for a few reasons, probably, but they really.
You guys should have to pay taxes, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
have
a
that
business.
podcast.
You
They
should have to pay taxes.
they really pissed me off because my coach was the only reason I went there. He was an assistant coach for me in high school.
Okay.
Got this head job out at this school, and it's the end of July. I had a full ride plus a little like free living at Southern Colorado, so I didn't want to go, full board register somewhere and
Mhm.
not get a scholarship. So he was able to find me some scholarship money, And it was his second year at the program. They were literally the worst team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Damn, you're saying.
yeah, dead last. Worst team in the country.
In what division?
NAI.
NAI.
And but
Division,
all divisions.
There's a few divisions in
Yeah,
NAI.
all divisions. They were the worst team in,
Right.
in the country, in the world. And Ben Henderson and me both were freshmen at the same time there at Dana. And the year after I left, they won a national title. So my coach, I think, was making a solid $33,000 a year. And
Hey,
he went
Nebraska,
to a-
that's all right.
they're the first national title this school has ever won in anything, or even come close to, right? He goes to him for a raise, and they gave him a 3% raise.
Huh.
It's just like a slap in the face.
Wow.
3%?
3%. And
That's not even cost
there
of
was
living.
there was like 600 kids at our school in a college. 600
They gave him
kids.
$1,000.
Yeah, 600 kids, right?
Half major.
He started this team with 10 wrestlers. He had 70 at the end, right? Because you could have unlimited numbers, and his scholarship money was unlimited as long as he kept the average at 50% ride. You know, so if I wanted to bring Scott in, I'd have to just get him to pay full board, so I could give somebody else a
Right.
full ride.
Huh.
You know, not saying that he sucks, but he's probably not a good wrestler.
Probably not.
Scott's a college athlete, man.
I was,
What,
man.
a
I
baseball
played.
player?
I played 1 year of soccer. Strangely
it's
enough.
even-
Ask him if he
And
played
never-
soccer in high school.
Never did.
Never
played it
soccer
ever.
before.
That's how good my school was.
Elliot, don't ever interrupt me again. That's rude. But,
He might be the new
You
co-host.
talk, Leister talks his big game, but he gets fucked up every time we ever do anything.
because all we ever do is jiu-jitsu.
I'll do whatever you want. You want to put some gloves on?
Let's go takedowns.
No, let's just put some gloves on and do
Remember when
everything.
takedowns?
Yes, you'll beat me, of course.
You beat me, of course. You're a UFC fighter.
No shit.
You're
So
a
just
UFC fighter.
don't fucking make
Why
me
you
go
gotta,
Mike
why you
Tyson.
why you gotta call out regular people?
People, you thought
I'm
on me,
not your
motherfucker.
wife's friend from
All
the
right.
hospital that you fucking punch out on the phone.
Oh.
I talked about this. He
did.
that guy lost his rocker on somebody else too.
Did he?
So anyway,
Yeah,
just to
problem.
finish this real quick, they always ask you for donations to donate
Yeah.
back to your college. They kept sending me these letters, but after they insulted my coach like that, I sent them one back that
Did you?
basically told them to fuck off, delete
Yeah.
me from your records. I don't ever want to be associated with your school. Fuck
Yeah.
you. And then they went out of business. That's what you get.
That's what you get. Leister will bring down the thunder.
Yeah.
So what'd you do after college? Did you go back to family business
Yeah.
back here?
Atlas Flooring, Boulder, Colorado.
There it is. And so how did you get into the fight game? How did that?
I wanted to fight.
Okay.
I coached a wrestling camp at Dan Severn's house.
Okay.
In college, he has this like compound in his backyard. And
I bet he does.
it's
Like
awesome.
Dan Severn, did he have the mustache?
Oh, yeah.
Was he rocking the
He
Yeah,
staff?
still
not
does,
has
man.
does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Him and
man.
Don Fry, bro.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't go away.
Yeah.
He asked me to come spar with some guys one night, and I just fell in love with it, you know.
For real.
So then when I got done, I wanted to fight. I had one amateur fight and got my wife pregnant, or somebody did, about 3 weeks after. And, yeah. I mean, they're little psycho kids, so I still don't know if they're mine.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not.
Yeah. Can't tell. They're a little aggressive.
They're a little crazy.
How many kids do you have?
Two boys.
Two
Yeah.
boys, that's right. And then your oldest is how old?
Almost 8.
Almost 8. He's
Yeah.
playing flag football right
Yeah.
now, right?
At least you can't stand that. His kids playing flag
I,
football.
I love watching kids play games.
Yeah, he hates football, but now his kid wants to watch football
Hold on,
every weekend.
hold on. Let's rewind here. Kids
Okay,
playing
man.
games is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit around all day and watch a grown ass man play a kid's game on TV.
Does that go for any sport?
Bunch of high priced babies.
Yeah, only wrestling.
That's not a sport.
Wrestling and
No,
fighting.
does that go for
Football's
any
not a sport. That's a game.
Football's
Whoa!
not a sport.
This is way
Wait a
past.
minute,
This is
wait a
way
minute.
past our argument.
Oh, how
I
is that
said
a
golf
sport?
wasn't a
It's
sport.
game. That's another game.
I
Well,
agree
what's
with
a
you
sport?
there.
Anything that you do. If you play it, it's a game.
Wait
What's a
second.
sport then?
Anything that you play. Or anything
Whoa, your logic just
I'm
went
so
way off.
confused.
anything that you play is a game. Anything that you do is a sport. Let's say wrestling.
So running
I
is
would
a
even
sport.
say jiu-jitsu.
It's
fighting.
a sport.
It's a sport, yeah.
Running's
I would
a
even-
sport.
I would say track and field.
Is
Yeah.
it what?
It's a sport. We're going to call it a sport. 'Cause
So
you do it. You don't play it. If you play it, it's just fun and games.
Huh. This
About
is a
that?
whole new theory.
How about that?
I've never heard
It's
this
not bad.
before.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's
I've
not
never
If
heard
you
bad.
play it, it's
before.
a game.
Golf.
You just
It's a
said
game.
it's a
You
game.
play it. Do you play golf or do you do it?
Wow, this is a
jiu-jitsu.
revolutionary theory I've never heard.
I've never heard before.
Yeah,
At least
I
just fucking rock my world.
So
I'm gonna have to look at the evidence and make a rational decision.
yeah, 1 + 1 = 0.
But I was
Sometimes.
coaching wrestling, a real sport at
Yeah.
UNC, and a bunch of the fighters used to come up and work on the wrestling. So that's
Okay.
kind of how that.
Yeah, so hold on. So it started with Nate Dogg, right?
Yeah.
Nate Marquardt.
Well, actually, no. I called Shane Carwin, when I was coaching at UNC, because he lives in Greeley, got his number to come wrestle with our heavyweight.
How long were you coaching Nate though before you were coaching all of us?
Well, so this is where it goes hand in hand. I asked Shane to come wrestle with our heavyweight. He said, I'll come wrestle with your heavyweight if you'll help Nate Markward. So then Nate came, I don't know, 2 or 3 times.
So not many.
And just, we'd go one-on-one, and then he goes, hey, man, can I bring some people? I've got people that I train with. Can I bring them? And I was like, yeah. He goes, I'm going to bring George and Keith. I'm like, whoever. I don't know who that is. And it was George St. Pierre and Keith Jardine, And he brought them to practice, and then, that was kind of when it all took off, yeah.
Yeah.
Told George St. Pierre the first time we wrestled, took him down a few times, and I wasn't like, I don't know what it was, just pure wrestling, right? And I'm a pretty honest person,
Yeah,
so
here comes a good Leister.
I was like, hey, I got to be honest with you, George. He's like, yes, what is that? I said, I'm not a fan of yours. And he's like, what? Why? I said, because you're French Canadian and you keep beating all the American wrestlers. I'm not okay with it. So I just wanted to be one of those guys that tells you straight up.
But
not like, oh, you're my favorite. Can I get a picture?
Yeah.
You're not my favorite. You keep beating my favorites, and I don't like it. It's like, but wrestling is my favorite part of MMA. And just, going on and on about it. So then we became friends.
I was going to say, it's probably why GSP likes you.
Probably.
You're honest with him. I remember being at the weigh-ins for Cody, and GSP came walking up and was like, Leister, Mr. Leister.
Hey, Mr. Leister.
I was like,
Wow.
wow.
R. How we gonna have the R just goes on forever. When he says Leister's name, it's retarded. So anyway, a bunch of us then just no, because before we were going up to UNC, I would go to.
No, I would work with you just individually at the judo center.
Yeah.
That was because you didn't like to. You used to drive to UNC.
No, but you
A
weren't.
little
Nobody was going up to UNC that much. It wasn't organized yet.
It was because it was summertime.
So
that's why.
So you guys were training up there a whole bunch. When when a lot of those guys were at Grudge, were you?
So we were all at Grudge.
Pretty much everybody from Grudge.
TKO and all
But
that.
they were driving a long ways, and I was doing too much. I was coaching college team and coaching all the fighters and traveling all the time. And the only way you can do that successfully is a very unhappy wife. So I decided to pick one and try to make her a little happier. It didn't work. She's still always mad at me.
So I mean, you've cornered a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, list a few of them. Cowboy.
I was never good enough to corner Eliot, but yeah, Cowboy.
You never cornered
Shane
Eliot.
Carwin, Nate, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, everybody in Colorado.
Lots and lots of guys. Yeah. So let me ask you guys this question, because you guys both corner people a lot, and this is a weird question, I guess, maybe to ask guys who corner people, but how much does your corner matter
I think
on the fight day?
Being comfortable
Being
matters,
comfortable
right?
matters.
Yeah.
Being comfortable.
And so he was always comfortable with Sean Sims, who was like his main training partner.
Hold on. No. So only one time did Sean corner me instead of you. I was always more comfortable with Greg Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Huh.
Because Greg and I have a like mind, you
Yeah.
know? And I went down there for half my camps.
Right.
You know?
So I've just always wondered, like, because how much do you hear while you're in the ring from your coaches and things like that?
Some people hear everything. Some people hear nothing.
Different fights too are
Different,
different because
different.
sometimes what was it, Neil's last fight? It was like the crowd was really good crowd. Educated crowds are awesome because they cheer when it's time to cheer.
Right.
They're not just like, rah, like when Carwin fought Lesnar, you couldn't say anything to him. It was like stand up. It was the loudest arena we've ever been in. You know? But there's sometimes where, they're right against the cage or even on the other side. But if the crowd's good, they can hear you.
Neil's a pretty good listener, though.
Yeah.
Neil's a pretty good listener.
Neil, I can see that. Have you ever cornered anybody in Japan?
No.
I have.
So, dead quiet?
Go watch Dwayne Ludwig fight Takanori Gomi. I'm the only person. I'm loud
Dwayne
anyway.
beat him, right?
No, Dwayne lost.
Did he?
I'm loud anyway. It is
Wait,
silent.
what? You're what?
I'm loud.
I've never picked up on that.
Yeah. Pete, don't drink it. Don't drink it. I'm
He's
sick.
sick.
Yeah, I'm all sick.
I'm just really, it kind of put me in the wrong mood today. I had this Keurig and it had, the only kind of coffee I had was hazelnut. It really pissed me off.
Yeah, it's
Why do we not have coffee in here? As much as you like coffee.
I knew you weren't going to have coffee, so I'm pissed.
I feel like we should.
Now that my coffee's
Because
gone.
you can see there's like 5 people in the building right now.
Yeah.
And it stays this way until like 9 o'clock.
Well, on Mondays,
So
let's
go ahead and
bring
buy
a
one,
French
man.
press. I'll buy us a Satan Center.
Go buy
French
us a
press or
Center. Use
something.
some of that fucking church money.
I'll write it off. So you cornered Dwayne in Japan.
I quit Dwayne in Japan.
Totally quiet?
Totally quiet.
Yeah, it's weird.
Silent as silent could be. The only person you hear is me.
Yeah.
on the YouTube.
Most
video.
events. Though.
Yeah.
Most events that we go to.
We only
I did
hear
a good job
Eliot.
last time.
Elliot. I
I
actually
did a good job.
complimented
Yeah,
you.
I did a good
I
job.
usually have to tell Elliot, hey man, don't sound panicked. calm
Yeah.
down a little bit.
Which is funny because that's the opposite of Greg Jackson.
Lisa and I disagree.
No, he's just very loud.
It's just because he's loud.
It's just because how my voice sounds, just like how everybody gets mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't
It's like
think,
his tone of voice.
Yeah.
Greg Jackson, when you hear him, it's like he's always like positive and encouraging. Like it's always like, "You're doing great. You're doing awesome."
So
like that's all I've
you
ever heard.
asked the corner thing.
Yeah.
I think that we helped Neil win the fight last time.
Being very
Being
positive.
very
like that.
positive.
I
Yeah.
believe that you can coach the judges a little bit.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can coach the judges, and
That's what Greg does
and
too,
it just
right?
depends.
Greg's a cheerleader. I mean, I love Greg,
Yeah.
but Greg's never going to be like,
Take your right hand, put it here.
yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
never like that.
It's
It's,
not
like,
technical.
it's like, good job, nice
Yeah,
kick,
that's all I ever hear.
beautiful.
And
I
a lot
love
of it,
you
a
know?
lot of it depends on actually what side you get on and where they have the judges placed. And then I saw it because when Neil fought last, right? Each judge was on. Two of the judges were right outside of us.
Yeah. Why is that not uniform?
I
don't
think
know.
the judges should be in a room upstairs with no sound.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I
Absolutely.
think.
Watch it
'Cause
on TV.
You think about it, I mean, subliminally, you're hearing all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So
It affects
if
you.
all you hear is like, great job, Neil, beautiful punch, Neil,
Yeah.
right? In your head, you might not be thinking that, but it's hard to study film on an opponent and watch the other guy, right? Like you're either watching one guy or the other. So,
Yeah.
so if you're hearing Neil, then you're hearing how good he does. So what I've cornered with a lot of people, and sometimes if you sound worried as a coach, like, then I think the judge senses that worry and that panic, and then they think you're losing.
Don't you think the judges in between rounds get caught up in watching the replays too, and the crowd's reaction?
No, they
to
don't have
replays?
They don't have
Exactly.
replays, and then they have
In the arena?
They have so they don't just write a 10-9 down. They have to write some other criteria on
Yeah.
their scorecards.
Yeah.
They have to sign their
They
scorecard.
have 45 seconds to do it for
45
each round.
seconds.
So there's not much time.
There's
for them
not
to
much
hear
time
the
for them to
crowd's
pay.
reactions.
Yeah, no.
And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand either. Like if you have a fight where,
We've
let's
gone
say
over this a lot.
rounds 1 and 2 you barely
Right.
won, and rounds 3 you get smashed.
Yeah.
Well, they have to turn in the scorecard every round. It's
Right.
not. They can't just like
The
erase
10-point
it.
must system's jacked up for
Yeah.
MMA. I think
Yeah.
it's terrible. So
It's jacked up for MMA, and one of the reasons that it is jacked up is because we don't have like a fight like boxing where it can go 12 rounds.
I think it should just go 15 minutes straight.
I agree.
like back in the day, wasn't that
No, they used to go no time.
no
At
time in the
least-
UFC?
no,
But
at
what was
least
Pride's thing?
Pride was
the first
that's
round was
10
10.
and 5.
5.
I think I like the 10-minute round
Yeah,
because a 10-minute round you find some
Yeah.
big differences after that 5 minutes, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you start wearing on somebody, and then come around minute 7 when they didn't get a rest.
yeah,
Like holy shit! Like if I get somebody down,
yeah.
like that was one of my whole things. Is like fuck, man. It's hard to make somebody tap inside. Like by the time you get a takedown,
You got 2 minutes.
you
left.
got 2 minutes left to work.
hmm
It's hard to make somebody tap. I don't know if I could, like Leister's a tough ass wrestler, right? I don't know if I could make him tap inside 2 minutes, fresh, like an in shape Leister.
Right.
That'd be difficult,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you think about the way they do it on the Ultimate Fighter? So where you get the bonus round thing, like, I mean, that could work too. There was another
They
organization
do that just
used
because
that.
they have to fight sometimes,
Yeah.
like every
So
7
often.
days. You know?
Right.
So
They do that because if you go 3 rounds, you automatically get a week suspension in Nevada,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
So if everybody went 3 rounds,
they wouldn't
then
be able to
everyone
take
would
forever.
get a week suspension.
I
those
see.
Ultimate Fighter, they don't give suspensions at all.
No, we all got suspended for
They
a week.
didn't when we were coaching.
Huh.
What's that?
They didn't suspend shit while we were coaching.
Now you guys have coached together on the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
but you weren't a coach when he was on it,
No.
right?
No,
But you got how many times have you guys coached on the show?
just once.
Just once. And was that as miserable as being on the show, or
No,
was it?
we gambled every day.
So
I know.
Leister and I would literally I hate Las Vegas. I can't stand
Yeah, I'm
Las
not a
Vegas.
fan.
First
I'm leaving
because
to go there Wednesday.
first
We'll
because
do that. We need to talk
yeah.
about that too.
First because my experience on the show when I was on the show,
Yeah.
like you can't grasp what it's like to be in jail until you're in jail. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and we would literally like we weren't allowed to open the door. Like you weren't allowed to open the front door to the house unless they said to walk outside. You know, and you're just locked. And like the first day,
I
like
think it makes it worse for you being that you had a family at home too. You
I had a
wife.
family and I wasn't poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so I wasn't, and by no means was I rich.
Yeah.
You know, but like.
Your whole life didn't
If-
depend on
Yeah,
that.
if I wanted a steak dinner, I could go get a steak dinner. And these guys were all excited that they could order a fucking ribeye.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, fuck you, man. I was like, I'll order a ribeye at home.
Yeah.
You know? And they didn't have to pay for it.
I like ribeye.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So anyway, and then so just we would be driving to the house when I was a contestant on the show, and I would just be like, and I actually prayed, you know?
You did?
No, fuck. But I'd be like, oh man, this would be so nice if it was burnt down. With all my shit, you know? I like, at least, I mean, like, the show won't be over, we'll go stay in a hotel.
You didn't have much
But-
shit though, because they give
Yeah.
you your clothes.
Yeah.
Who cares, you know? But you'd be like,
That's a
fuck
little
it.
weird.
Fuck it.
That was the best part. They give you.
All the gear.
Every day they're like, you have to wear Ultimate Fighter shit, and I wanted stuff to give to people, right?
Sure.
So every day I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, shit! I need
sorry.
another shirt.
I
I need some short. I came home with like 3 trash bags full of clothes.
need some shorts.
So then the second time when I was coaching, it was literally just me and Leister, like, in between every fucking practice, we were just in a casino.
We literally
Yeah.
gambled every day for 6 weeks.
Every day. And not like go throw a fucking bet down. I'm talking like practices over at 6, drive from, because literally the Palms was like across the street from where the training center is in Vegas. And we would just drive to the casino and just fucking be in the casino.
And where did
Like-
you guys stay?
6-8 hours, right down the strip from Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was a very unhealthy life.
No, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Eat
Leister and I got to a fight in the casino. In the casino.
Yelling at each other?
All
or
I
like
could hear
putting
was
hands on
tables
each other?
going, Leister, and like, I'm trying to go back to the table, and I ran out of money.
It's 2 in the morning, man. It's 2 in the morning. We've been there since 6
I'm
p.m.
like, Elliot, give me
6
some money.
p.m. And Leister
I'll
just
pay- I got
lost all
cash.
his money. Leister just lost $500.
No, I didn't lose $500.
Okay, $300, whatever the fuck it was, right? All the money he had on him. And
I
I'm
have
like,
all
all
my
right,
cash
it's
in my
over.
bag at the room because I know better. I know myself.
Yeah.
I only bring cash, no debit card when I
Right.
go to a casino. However much I'm prepared to entertain
To
myself
lose,
with.
yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
we don't lose.
Sorry.
We
Yes.
entertain ourselves.
That's how I always looked at it when I went to the horse races. Was this is paying for entertainment?
Yeah.
so Leister's like, I'm gonna go get McDonald's. So we go and we're standing in line at this fucking McDonald's. He's like, are you hungry? And I'm like, yeah, I'm hungry, man, but I don't eat that shit. You know, like.
Yeah, he's judgmental.
Really?
Fuck
You're already
it,
in Vegas and it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not eating McDonald's
Health
enough.
is no longer a
What happened if you ate
consideration.
McDonald's? Would you get sick?
Huh?
Would you get sick if you ate
I don't
McDonald's?
know. I haven't eaten it in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. You get
Probably.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know.
So
So,
sounds good.
so
to me,
it
though.
does sound good sometimes, right?
Big Mac sounds
Oh,
really
fuck yeah,
good.
man. So we're walking back, and Lisa's like, "Give me that $25 chip," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Give me the $25 chip." And I'm like, "He's like, Elliot, give me the $25 chip. I'm gonna go play it. You get the car, drive it around to the front, and
Be
pick
waiting.
me up." You know? And I'm like, "No, man." He goes, "Why?" I was like, "Because if you win, you're not walking out,
And you're
man."
gonna be sitting there.
And he's like, Elliot, give me the fucking chip right now. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not giving you the fucking chip. And we're like screaming at each other like this in
like
the
a
casino.
like a couple,
So good.
like a married couple
That's so
fighting.
good.
their way
I
to
was
the
like, what?
casino.
I was like, Lisa, we're fucking leaving. We've been here 8 hours,
I think
man.
I think I looked at one of the dealers. I'm like, he's such an asshole.
Like a little.
I
leather
only
spat.
at the end of it, the last night you're there, Dana White takes you out and he gives you a bunch of chips
Mhm.
at a strip club,
Yeah.
and so I went just strictly because I knew this, and he gives, I think it was $800.
$800.
And he gives us $800 at the Rhino and spearmint chips, and I took them and just cashed them out. Gambled, and I won that night. So after being there for 6 weeks, I think I was only down. I came with $1,200 and I came back with like $700.
So that's not
So
bad.
I
after
lost
that many weeks.
$500 in 6 weeks
Not bad.
gambling every day.
Not bad.
Man, it was
Got out
rough.
of there with fear and loathing with
But
Eliot.
remember that there was that one night that we were playing 3-card poker or something.
Yeah,
we
you
were
hit
just
fucking
winning, man.
stupid, yeah.
So you're heading to Vegas this week for Kat's fight,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So Katz and Gano, you guys wrestled together back in
She
high
wrestled
school.
in Fairview. I wrestled at Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like just mixed emotions about girls wrestling. I'm 100% okay with it when they're wrestling other girls.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they wrestle boys, especially at a younger age.
Yeah.
High school, I'm not as worried about it because by the time you're in high school,
Size can't matter.
and
That
if
they
it
can't
does,
overcome
and if it
size.
does, it's not gonna like hurt the sport of wrestling. Like
Right.
if you suck and you get beat by a girl, or
Right.
maybe the girl's just really good and she beats you or whatever, if you quit wrestling or whatever, you at least had your time to like
Get
fall
there.
in love with it and let it change you as a person or whatever. But the 9 or 10-year-old boy that loses to a girl, then they get ridiculed by all their friends. They get made fun of.
And it's possible. We've talked about this because at 9 and 10, you're no stronger, no weaker.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like, if you're 50 pounds, you're 50 pounds. If you're a girl or boy, it doesn't matter.
So my mindset was always like, when you wrestle a girl, you're either going to be a bully or a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be the biggest bully you've ever seen, and I'm not going to pin you.
Mm-hmm.
My goal was 100% any girl I wrestled, I'm going to make them never wrestle again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty successful at doing that.
Yeah.
You know, 90% of the time, I don't think I got a call. I'm not going to answer, but got the new iPhone 6, by the way.
Is that the new iPhone 6?
That's
Check
what it is.
that out.
See the guy in Australia got the first one, and he dropped it immediately.
So anyway, Kat comes into practice, and
At Fairview?
at Lions. So our
Lions.
teams would cross train every now and then.
Okay.
And it's also what's different about jiu-jitsu. It's not accepted, right?
Those gym rivalries and
Yeah,
stuff.
which I'm gonna talk about Scott in a little bit too. But, so she comes in, and my friend, he actually had passed away like 16 years ago now. He drowned when we were in high school. He was my best friend. Me and him were the only 2 state champions in the area, Bert Stringer. And she comes right up, and she's like, we're going groups of 3. I want to go with you 2 today. And I'm like, oh, this bitch is getting jacked up. And that's all I could think.
Yeah.
So I beat her so bad.
Yeah.
She told me later that I cracked her cheekbone, headbutting her or something. I don't know, but I beat her bad. And she just would not quit.
Yeah.
And I respected her after that, because I'm like,
wow.
Dude, she came, we're both the only 2 state champs in the room. And
She called you out.
beat the brakes off of her, and she would not quit. And so, I came
No
back
problem,
from
Ray Rice, Leister.
Oh.
Ray Rice. Yeah, except for she was fighting back.
And they were on wrestling mats, and she said.
So anyway, I came back and she was fighting, and she'd come in a couple times and practice with us. Like,
I'd never seen her before
she
this
came
year.
to Easton's.
Never before this year.
Yes, she did.
Nope.
Yes, she did. She came there to my wrestling practice.
Oh, so you're wrestling
on
practice.
Wednesdays. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah,
But
so-
not for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
But not for like team practice. This was before. This was
she
when
came
Grudge
to
was-
my wrestling
Yeah,
practice.
this was when Grudge was still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she came to Grudge a few times too,
Yeah.
just for my wrestling practices. And then her last camp for Misha,
Mhm.
her and Mauricio asked me if I'd run the camp,
Yeah.
and then that's kind of. But I've been friends with her ever since high school.
So what are your thoughts on this fight coming up?
I think Kat's tough to deal with, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Amanda's really tough, very skilled and technical, and Kat's kind of wild and crazy. And I always just see her spar, and I'm like, God, it would suck if my wife had to fight her. That's all I can think.
I really I was wishy-washy before last week because we'd only seen her. I'd never seen her go with another
Oh
girl.
yeah.
Right? So this is my first camp coaching camp, and I had never seen her train with another girl. I'd only see her train with these guys, and she trained with me a little bit. And like whenever I train with somebody, at least you can attest to this, whenever you go with somebody right before they fight, you can be like, oh, they're ready,
Yeah.
or you can be like, oh, they're not ready,
They're not ready. Yeah.
And I could never get a feel with. I couldn't get a feel with her.
But we're also used to gauging like Neil against Nate, right? We've seen him spar 100 times.
Sure,
And so
sure.
Sometimes you can be like, oh man, this is he's
Yeah, you don't know when you change that big variable.
So anyway, you know what I mean? I've been as trying, still very positive with her, but unsure, So anyway, her friend came in last week, who is the 120
Barb
Honchak, who's the
Yeah, I saw
125 Invicta champion. Kat's
Right.
fighting 135, but Barb's not getting ready to fight.
They were 4 or 5 pounds apart.
Yeah,
Right.
last
like
week.
they're the same weight basically.
Yeah.
And man, like Tuesday she comes in and Kat fucked her up, and I was like, oh yes. I was
There you
like,
go.
like my nerves just went
Yeah.
like way down. Plus I was like,
Yeah.
okay, she's a fucking monster.
Yeah. So this will air after the fight
After
and
the
everything.
fight, yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
see how it
I think
goes.
Kat's one of those wild cards. You don't see many knockouts with girls,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't be surprised if Kat ate a couple, punches. The girl's got crisp striking,
Yeah.
but then her instincts take over, man, and she makes it a brawl and a fight. And
Yeah.
dude, she's tough.
Kinda
Chicks
like the
can't
Misha
handle it
fight.
because the guy you watch her go with guys a lot.
Yeah.
When they grapple,
Yeah.
they can't handle it.
She's tough.
She's
Yeah,
tough as
really
shit, man.
So
When I first saw her fight and I knew she was fighting, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna be a star if there's ever women's fighting. She's,
Right.
She's tough as shit. There's
Yeah.
just not many girls who have that.
I did an interview with Kevin Isle last week, and I compared her to a 135-pound female version of Shane Carwin.
I read that.
What?
All these interviews, I never see you mention anybody but Leister.
I read that. You got Easton's got called out on Rogan's Fight Companion podcast that just came out. I was listening to it while I was riding down
What'd he
the
say?
mountain. He was talking about how him and Eddie Bravo were in here and Carwin came in one time or something like that.
Yeah,
They were talking about Shane Carwin, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were talking about how he never threw leg kicks, but they felt like if he did, he would have just killed somebody with them. You know,
If Shane put anything, if Shane put 100% into anything, like so, like when you train with Shane, right? When you're like his training partner,
I just stood next to
and
him
he
once, and that
punches
was
you?
enough.
and Shane punches you. You're like, motherfucker, this is practice. Why are you going so hard?
Yeah,
Right?
Well, Brendan,
You're gonna break my face, bro.
Shane has a beautiful little daughter,
Mhm.
and I asked Shane, I was like, "Oh, that sucks. What are you gonna do when little Leister Slade come knocking at the door, man? I'm 2-0. I got boys." And he goes, "Any kid that wants to date my daughter, I'm gonna tell them to rape their dad."
No, that sounds like Carwin.
But like when you train with
issues.
him, when you train with him, you get a little upset because how hard you think he's going.
That's what Brendan
And
said.
then you watch him fight, and you watch him miss a punch, and just like hit the mat, and the whole fucking octagon shakes.
Hey, were you
And
there?
you're like,
Were you
dude.
there when we had him come in and spar with Brendan?
Yes.
So
dude.
Brendan,
Oh my
Brendan's
god.
This might be what Brendan was
Brendan's
talking
having his very last sparring session, right?
Yeah. Did Brendan tell the
about. He
story?
mentioned this.
I always believed that like the pros should train more like
Like
it
a
should,
fight.
like it should be when you're fighting in the UFC, your sparring sessions should revolve around you a little bit, especially towards the end of your camp.
Mhm.
And it's hard because you have a team and you got
Yeah.
10 guys getting ready or whatever. But like the Friday night before your fight, I want it to be like
About-
all eyes on you,
Yeah.
right? So I told Brendan, I'm like, hey, he asked me to be his head coach for a few fights, and I'm like, I'm gonna set this up where you invite your family, invite some people to come watch,
Mm.
create a little nerves, you know.
Mhm.
We're gonna bring in some sparring partners. So I asked Shane, I'm like, hey, Brendan really looks up to you, and like it's like his older brother. I'm
Yeah.
like, would you come in and give him one round and let him feel confident? Like, I'm not telling Shane like just let
To
him
lay
beat the
down,
brakes
yeah.
off you, but like but just make him feel good, right?
Mhm.
Shane's like, I'm doing all this work. He just bought this house and he had all this tractor work to do, and he's like, I'll probably come in. And I'm like, all right. So at like 2 or 3, I call him. You gonna be able to come? Yeah. And I'm like, he's been drinking. He's been drinking beer because you're
Yeah.
out working on your yard
Yeah.
and you can drink some beers,
Yeah.
right? So he wasn't like drunk,
Right.
but he comes in.
But not drunk, probably 10 in.
He's a big dude.
Yeah. The best part is his hands. If he's drinking a can of beer, we're fishing. I'm like, Shane, you need a beer? No, I got one. You can't even see it in his hand. But anyway, he comes in and the bell rings and all these people are there and I've got crowd noise going in the background and
I was next.
Shane just runs in, throws a left hook. Brendan's like, grabs him, runs him all the way across the cage. Brendan breaks the first takedown and turns, and Shane's coming. And Brendan's like running. You remember that? And Shane's chasing him from behind, and Brendan turns around and grabs him, boom, throws him down. Brendan kind of like lands and is coming up, and Shane's like, boom. And Brendan's like, what the fuck? And
So he finally gets a hold of him
So
and he
they
whispers
clinch.
in his ear. He goes, "Calm down, man."
No, Shane whispered in his ear, and he's like, sorry, bro, go ahead and get up. You don't tell me to get up.
No, you didn't tell that
It would have
story.
been
That's
over.
good.
Like Shane,
Oh, dude.
I swear, I still to this day think that if we could have convinced Shane to be like, "Hey, man, Dana called.
Yeah.
It's one round, bro.
Yeah.
It's one fucking round.
Yeah.
You'll never have to go another round."
There's
after
not
that
many
one.
people in the world that can last 2 minutes with him.
Yeah.
Really not.
You can't understand it, and people are like, "Oh, but he lost to Brock Lesnar." You can't understand it.
Destroyed Brock Lesnar.
He
for
broke
Yeah.
He
broke him.
broke. And
Brock's never
then
been the same after.
Yeah.
no, never.
He realized this shit's real.
Yeah, and I think that fight
real.
should have been stopped.
I
really
don't.
do.
No way.
whatever.
No way.
I think it should have.
Why?
but-
Brock ended up
I
coming
don't-
back.
Obviously, it shouldn't have because he came
Yeah,
back.
he came
Well,
back and won.
It
Yeah.
could have.
It could have.
He
He couldn't have complained,
yeah.
but you
Right.
can see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of fights get stopped way sooner than that, for sure. But heavyweight title on the
Sure.
line,
Yeah.
I can see that. So
All right, so let's talk about Leister's religion. For
I
a
want to
second.
know Leister. Yeah, I want to know because I didn't
Well,
know.
all of my whole life, I've been told that I was a non-denominational Christian, right?
by.
By my mom or whatever.
So did you grow up going to church?
No,
or?
never.
Okay.
Only every time I did, I got in trouble for something. Like
Yeah, me too.
But I'd say over the last year, that's kind of changed. I've witnessed 2 miracles over the last year. I really have.
Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one, Vinny Lopez, actually, right? He never beat me in a game of pig.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Shows up one
This
day.
is true.
Shows up one day, and he beats me. And just by coincidence, he has his pastor with him. So I figure that they had to get God against me. Right? There's no other way to be.
There's no other way.
10-0 against him.
Sure.
It's a miracle. For sure. And the other one just happened last week. Barb Honchak's in town.
Yeah.
You know, we just talked about her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so how's training going?
Oh.
She's like, oh, it's great. You know, she said everything I'd expect her to say. She's like, I've worked with a lot of wrestling coaches and nobody's made me understand it the way I'm like, yeah, of course, you know. And she's like, and Eliot's classes are great. I just love Eliot. And I'm like, what? First impression, you loved Eliot?
Wait, when did you meet him?
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So obviously there's something going on
Something's
here.
up.
Something special.
Something's
No, I've always kind of said that, you know, non-denominational Christian. Like, I didn't really know what I believe, you know. So basically, I took that a step further. Just the more I'm around religion, and the more it's like, just, you know, I'm hearing all kinds of shit, and it's really pushed in my face. And so now I just believe in being a good person, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's where I stand. You know,
Yeah.
like I believe that I am a good person, and most people are going to call me an asshole. Oh, Leister, he's an asshole. You know, well, the truth of the matter is the only reason they call me an asshole is because there's no black and white with me. Or there's no gray areas. It's all black and white. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think at all times.
Yeah,
you know? And so that makes you an asshole a lot of times.
You know, like when somebody fucks up, you know, and like you're thinking about, man, I really need to be talking to this person about how they fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
Leister's already on.
Yeah, he's not thinking.
Yeah.
He's not
Right.
thinking.
I actually called Eliot the other day. I either made a really good adult, mature choice in my life,
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard this. I can't believe it.
or I got punked by a hitchhiker, and I haven't decided. I haven't decided what it was. But I'm driving down the canyon from elk hunting, and
You were already out elk.
I already got an elk. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Just a little raghorn 4x5.
Yeah. It's food.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm driving down the canyon, and there's this just bum looking hitchhiker, right? You've seen the guy.
Sure.
And he's on Highway 7 in the canyon. I grew up in this canyon, you know, so like I'm used to seeing these guys hitchhiking all the time. And this guy's different. He's like hitchhiking, and he sees me, so he's like walking further out into the road, and he's like in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So I just go around him, and he's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" And I'm like, "What?" So I have my brakes, and I'm like, "I'm gonna fuck this guy up, throw him in the river," you know. So I like throw my truck in reverse, and I'm looking, and I see him run to the edge of the road and pick up 2 rocks.
He's ready to go.
And I'm like, he's gonna throw rocks at my truck. And I love my truck. It's black F-150, black rims. I love my truck. So I'm like, God, man, I really stop, and I'm like, so I back up there. He puts a dent in my truck. I fuck him up. Then I'm gonna have to, maybe I'll kill him.
Yeah, you never know where it's gonna
breaks
stop.
my truck, and I'm like, it's just not worth it. I really need a nap.
Yeah.
This has never happened.
I was up.
Never happened.
Right.
So I'm
Leister
driving.
gets in fights at like when you watch the UFC, right?
Yeah.
If somebody says something dumb, Leister's like, let's just go outside, I'll show you.
So I drive a few more miles down the road, and I let it go, and I'm still like, I need to turn
He's
around.
still not okay.
I need to turn around and go back there, you know? And then I'm just like, because he won't be ready now. He thinks I left. So now he'll drop the rocks. He's not going to hit my truck. Or I could just pull up like 50, 60 yards from him and then chase him down so that he can't throw rocks at my truck.
Keep in mind, the consideration here is all about the truck. It's not this man will throw a rock at my head.
No.
Chances are he's not that athletic. But
This is the Oklahoma story.
So good.
Right here, this is the Oklahoma story. Gonna double like a fucking Honda Civic.
I was saving lives that night. But anyway, so that's kind of where I stand. Like, I don't ever just I don't like to regret anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's probably 2 or 3 times in my life I feel like someone should have got slapped at least.
Right.
At the bare minimum, they should have got an open hand to the face. And there's 2 or 3 times in my life, and I still remember vividly that I didn't do it. So it really bothers me.
Yeah.
That guy deserved something, you know? And so anytime I think something, I've been on the phone with him and something comes up, I'm like, I gotta go. You know?
Like we're discussing something and he's like, I gotta deal with this.
That's it, right now.
Like Eliot called the guy who was yelling at him. I was in the car, the guy that with the fantasy game, and I won't even call it a sport. Fantasy game.
No, that's a game.
Football game.
Yeah, fantasy football's a game.
And,
Sure.
and I said, dude, just ask him what his address is.
Right. Yeah.
Where are you?
Where are you right now?
Right now, I
I'll
will
be
come
there.
to you, or you can come to me. But
Right.
we're not talking like this on the phone, you know. So anyway, I believe I'm a good person. I believe that's part of being a good person. You know, if I have something on my mind, I'm going to speak it to you, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And unfortunately, that comes across as an asshole. But I've also opened my home to several people. I can't tell you how many people have lived with me, and you know, I'll help anybody. You know, so
So you can't get there with works, though, my friend. You can't get there with works.
No.
You can only get there through the grace of the Lord.
Yeah.
our
So
Lord.
anyway, that's what I'm getting at. So at some point, I just came to the realization that I'm not going to choose sides.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to be a good person. If that means that I'm going to hell because I'm not going to take all the steps to get me to heaven, then at least I'll be hanging with my boys down there.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of friends that'll be there.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it.
How'd your wife grow up? Did she bring any kind of religion?
She's
into the
kind of the
equation?
same.
No? It's kind of the same deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I will say this, you know, listen to the podcast as somebody that's on the fence. You better get your shit together because you live your life around this, right? I mean, I've just started to get to know you, right? But you live your life around Christianity.
Right.
It's how you were brought up. It's what you went to school for. It's your business. It's how you live your life, raise your family.
Uh-huh.
And if this was a debate, you're losing, my man.
Yeah.
You're losing.
What sides are, or what are the big points
he's
that you
got
hit?
all kinds of facts. Reads both sides of the argument, and just if it's a debate, you're losing.
Yeah. I read both sides of the argument too.
You just don't know how to talk about it. Then.
What are the big pieces that are like big reinforcements for you?
It's just any argument that you guys have, you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you need to put your foot
all
down.
of them.
You need to put your foot down. Argue it a little better.
All right.
His abortion
Let's
argument was decent. That was the first time he stumped me a little bit because he didn't use God.
Yeah.
You didn't feel good about that one, but I mean.
Yeah, you weren't going to argue it because you don't really like abortion either, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not. I just think I think you should have a choice.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that choice is, so it's hard for me to say where it is and where it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like if it's your business, you got to be able to sell it better.
Yeah, but that's
And I
not
told
my goal.
Eliot, it's not, but then why
Yeah.
are you doing this? Why are you going to argue with somebody about it and not argue?
Well, our goal in this was to show like we can disagree and still be boys. You know
Well,
what
it's
I mean?
easy to
So,
disagree and still be boys if you don't argue with it.
Not for a lot of people, I don't think.
No, most people it's hard.
Because he doesn't argue, though. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think I argue at all?
No.
You
bring
think I
up a
argue?
point and he argues it, and then you let it go.
Yeah, I do let a lot of things go for
Yeah,
sure.
You shouldn't let it go, especially
Yeah.
not with this motherfucker.
At the end of the day, like one of the things that
He's like a bully.
he is,
You
a bully,
give
for
him
sure.
a little, he's just gonna take it all.
I
Yeah,
just
but-
keep pouring.
But this is my water reaction, right? Instead of trying to go through him, I'm trying to go around.
He's
him,
gonna tell you this
Well,
story.
I know he's the wrestler.
You're still a white belt, right? You're still a white belt.
Yes.
Oh, that brings me to another point, not God related.
Yeah.
Right? I question your loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was you, I would not be competent in memberships to train CrossFit.
Jiu-Jitsu. Oh,
He trains at a different gym, a different jiu-jitsu gym.
Are we
And if I
talking
was your-
jiu-jitsu or
If I
CrossFit?
was, I'm talking Easton's and the other gym.
Okay.
If I was your other gym, I would 100% kick you out.
Because
Because I question your loyalty.
the
to my-
jiu-jitsu gym or the CrossFit
No,
gym?
I'd kick you out.
Because I have.
See, he probably pays the other CrossFit gym. See, but if I was the other jiu-jitsu guy, the loyalty, martial arts, you're done. You're out of
Nah,
here.
man,
Yeah.
he needs his church, homie.
What?
He needs his church. It's right across the street. Maybe Scott will wear the reflex hat in church, and somebody will actually walk in that gym.
I question his loyalty. I'm just kidding. I had to bring that up.
Just so everybody knows,
I
Leister-
still think the fact that you're a pastor and he's an atheist is not the story here. The fact that he gets along with somebody that does jiu-jitsu somewhere else.
There's another miracle.
That's crazy.
I will say one of the first, like, I don't remember when we first met.
I
You
think
know,
at Cody's fight.
was that the first time we met?
I think so.
Really?
Well, that's maybe
In Vegas?
I think so.
No, I thought.
No,
we met
man.
before that.
Were you at Vinny's wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
you-
didn't really
you,
meet you
you
there,
cornered Vinny
And
several
Cody's
times.
wedding?
But that was.
I wasn't at Cody's.
You were at
yeah,
Cody's
I was
wedding?
at Cody's wedding.
Yeah, but I mean, we never really talked that
No.
much or anything. But I mean, when you walked in the hotel room, you walked in the hotel room and everything, like, you know, I mean, I'd heard about you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But one of the things that I've always liked about you is that you're one of the most direct people, even more so than Eliot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and that just is never like some people go, man, that guy's an asshole or whatever. I just like it, you know.
I appreciate honesty from people. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't like me for whatever reason, just tell me. And
yeah.
We're good.
It's
you
a
know?
little weird because it's an East Coast thing. Like that's why people don't like you and don't like me that much.
He's not East Coast though.
No, I know, but it's off that he has it.
Oh, I
you
see.
know, it's on the East Coast. It's on the East Coast. You just know where you stand with people.
Yeah.
Fuck isn't that big of a deal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Hearing the word fuck.
Yeah. Normal.
It's just not that big of a deal. You know, and you just know where you stand. Like this guy likes me, and like I can even sit in a room with you and not like you. It doesn't kill me.
Mm-hmm.
What kills me is to sit in a room with you and have to pretend like we might like each other because we don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd rather just go, hey, you know what? I don't fucking like you. You don't like me. And even if I have to send you a text later in the day, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
And we know that we're not going to have to bullshit around the bush like, you know, we just don't like each other. And that's fine. I don't have to like
No,
anybody.
I just believe in being a good person, though. You know, I don't lie, cheat, or steal. That's kind of my morals right there, you know.
So do you think there's a heaven and a hell, or you just kind of like
don't
maybe
care.
You don't care?
No, I used to, you know, when we started our team, you know, Nate's one of the guys that helped me start our team, and he's real religious. And he asked me if I was a Christian at some point, you know, I don't know, probably a year ago. And I was like, I'm non-denominational Christian, you know, and that's always kind of what I threw out there when people asked. And now I just don't know. I'm not even going to say that because I truly don't care. So I feel like I'm going to be a good person, and there's worse people out there that claim to be Christians and do all kinds of bad shit and then repent, and then they, you know, oh, I'm okay now. You know, I'm not going to ever be that guy. I'm going to live a righteous life, in my opinion. And if there's a heaven, I should be there. And if God's that judgmental, that he's not going to let good people into heaven because we didn't live by whatever rules are written in a book that no one knows is true, then I guess I'll be in hell with my friends.
So where do you think that cutoff might be as far as like the relatively good? So is it everybody
Well, I think
worse than you?
Obviously, there's going to be some forgiveness, right? There's going to be, if you stole some shit as a kid or you know, whatever. Like, guys like Vinny Lopez are a great example of, like, you know, if there's a heaven, he should be there. He's a good guy. I think so, yeah. He's changed his life.
Vinny's my boy.
He's changed his life, right?
But
he didn't change his life because he's afraid to go to hell. He changed his life because he wanted to be a better person. And so I forgive people like that, you know?
So on the balance, though, like if you're looking at
Vinny's
Vinny's life,
is going to break down.
Like if you're looking at scales, you know what I'm saying? Like on the balance of Vinny's life, he'd be the first to tell you, like on the bad side, like it's here, you know, still, even to this day.
Right, but he's trying to
so
change,
much
and it's
stuff.
not because he's scared of hell.
Sure,
so
but
I'm going to forgive him.
But if at the end of the
I'm
day,
going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
Well, tell him why.
I think that's why everyone should. Well, I think that's why people go to Christianity.
I'm not saying that I'm not God. So I think it's because he wanted to live a better life, and not be in prison. You know, whatever it is, he's a good dude. He's my friend.
Yeah, I love him. We had him on last week, and he's my boy. I love him.
But I don't really care.
But I don't think he's any different than any other Christian. It's based out of fear.
I'm saying the people that are like on death row.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
So for you would go like, you're kind of banking on if there is a heaven and a hell and there's a God out there, then it's just the worst of the worst. And
no, not at all. Maybe
okay.
Vinny's not going in.
Oh, okay.
I'm not God. I'm just saying I'd let him in.
Okay,
you know?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't care. I really don't care.
So if it really is an eternal thing, don't you think that caring, you should care? Because it's kind of a big deal.
No.
I'm
going to care about what matters right now.
Okay. Yeah. So in that
I'm
way,
going to live a good life, you know?
Yeah.
The other day I seen a kid in a wheelchair and his hat flew off and it was running through the parking lot and he's trying to get to it and I ran out there and got it.
Yeah.
Like I see people do good shit, good deeds, you know?
Sure.
Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And that's on a small scale. That's something that you shouldn't even have to think about, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, people that are bad people, then they should go to hell. If there's a hell, and if you're good, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's it. And literally, if Christianity's right or whatever, any religion, then that's just how it should be, and it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I guess just that bell curve is what I would try to zero in on is like, so where would that cutoff be?
Why does it matter?
Well, because like if
you're not God and I'm not God.
No, I know. I would just go.
So why should I care?
Because I would care about myself.
So I should care about. Why not just be a good person? So I should be like, well, fuck, maybe I could steal a little bit.
Right.
Maybe I could start just stealing a little bit of money.
But on the other end, what I run into a lot of people, especially ones around here who grew up kind of Catholic, who have this idea of I got to do more good stuff than bad stuff. So that at the end of my life,
that's not what I'm saying, though. I didn't say that at all. Just do good stuff.
Okay. All right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not
just kind of let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I'm not. I've never stolen anything. I don't lie to people, and I don't cheat.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously, if you don't do those things, you're probably not out murdering and raping and doing all kinds of other shit, right?
Yeah.
But that's just what I think, you know. I'm not. If you start putting a curve to it, then you're gonna figure out how far you can push it and still be okay.
In the other direction.
Yeah. I can still.
And with your way, you can push it all the way to the end on the bad side.
Sure, but I can't say that I've never lied, cheated, or stolen. Like, I mean, I'm not that good, you know. I mean,
Sure.
I've stolen before. I've lied.
I'm sure I've lied. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, harmful lies, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just know for me, like, I don't feel like I could ever win that battle of being better, you know.
Oh,
the
you
good
try,
at it
right?
bad.
You
I do
try,
to
and
be-
that's good.
Yeah.
You know, if you steal something, I wouldn't
The
even say
problem
I never stole. You know what I did when I was in high school? I used to take round pizzas and I'd stack one on top of each other because I only had $1 to buy one.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd eat two.
But
Yeah.
then
Sometimes I'd give them $5 and be like, nah, I just keep it.
this is the problem with religion a little bit, though, is it teaches you that you're inherently bad. You
Mhm.
just said it.
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, I
You're
think
not inherently bad. What time
compared
is
to
it?
each other, yeah.
All
We got
25 after.
right.
all right.
You
We're
got
at 2 minutes.
5 minutes.
But compared
but
to
it
each other,
teaches you.
that's my point. Is
But
we
it
should
just,
play
yeah,
this game.
because you have this mind that you're so bad from the beginning, from the second you came out of your mom's womb, that you're sinning. You know, and it teaches you that because you're created in flaw to God.
It teaches
You know,
that-
and you just said it. You said it without even really noticing. I can't win the battle. What do you mean you can't win the battle? You're a good dad. You
Sure.
love your kids. You take care of them, and you love your wife, right? And you love your mom and dad, right? And you're a good friend.
Right.
And yeah, maybe you have some bad thoughts, and maybe you tell a lie here or there, right? Or maybe you do some bad things, but come on, man.
Yeah.
You're not bad. You're not going to lose the battle. Good. That is right there. You explained the problem with Christianity and
No.
religion. You are not bad, man. You're
But I
a
think
good guy.
if you had to look at the curve would be where does it hurt other people?
Yeah.
You're not even close to
If it's
that.
hurting
But
other
compared
people,
to other
that's not
people,
good.
that's my point. Is
But who
like,
cares compare? Why are you going to compare?
that's what we're saying right now, though. Is like that's basically
Yeah, that'd be
our
great
argument.
if most people get into heaven. That, you know, if it's there, that's what we want.
Christianity teaches is it's not about, you know, who's bad compared to who. It's about we're all bad compared to God. So He's perfect.
I know, and that's
And we're
bullshit.
not.
You just said it because you don't think you're going to win the scale of good and bad.
compared to God.
No, you just said it yourself. I am not going to win the scale of good and bad.
Yeah, I'm not. Not because all it takes is one bad thing to be short of God's perfection.
So why
And
do you
I
have
lost
to be,
that battle a long time
But
ago.
why do you have to be perfect? Nobody's perfect. How do you
Right.
how do you get good at anything? You get good at anything by fucking up and then working at it and working at it and working at it.
Right.
Right? Well, man, like, so you and I both do jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Right? You fail 80% of the time.
99.
You know, and I
Right.
and I fail 70.
Right.
I'm not, but I'm pretty fucking good.
Right.
You know, it's you guys just have this ultimate perfection thing, and why my wife's not perfect.
None of us are.
None of us are.
That's the point.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like when you even look at like the most beautiful girl in the world, she's not perfect.
Right.
Right? It's not like you're like,
Have
oh
you
my
seen
god,
the
that's a,
Crazy Matrix.
yes,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah, he showed it to me.
It's not perfect. Like
That's so true, though.
we just have, it's this twisted idea of perfection that we have that has been ingrained. I don't know why it's there, but and we all have it, right? We don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Why? Just get better.
Sure. And we talked about that a few weeks ago. You know, Christianity's not opposed to getting better.
See, that's where he doesn't like what you just did.
What?
You went, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I also gave a counterpoint. All right. Should we wrap it up?
No,
You gotta
I
go?
do think the other thing is a lot of religious people that I know are very selfish.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know if that's just people in general or if I notice it more because people that are religious are supposed to be, you know,
Because they talk about how
Yeah,
much
they
their
talk-
religion.
and I think that selfishness bothers me more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that being said, you know, you could never convince me that there's anyone more important than myself in the world. You know,
Right.
Like, I think I'm more important than anybody other than my kids and my wife. You know,
Yeah.
and you're not going to convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to help people and go out of my way to make other people comfortable and do things for other people. You know,
Sure.
and I don't see the same. And I think it's got to be in all aspects of life. You know.
Mhm.
And so it's very hard for, especially athletes, I think, to separate the two because to be a great athlete, you got to be kind of selfish, you know.
Yeah.
But then if you're gonna like you know, fighters that are all praise be to Christ. You know, I truly don't believe that he cares about your fighting career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you have to be very selfish to think that God cares about.
Cowboy
your
said
fighting
it
career.
best.
Cowboy
said it best.
We had our guys would always do like a Bible study once a week. It
Yeah, I
lasted a few
remember.
months. You know,
Yeah.
it didn't last very long. But Cowboy was in town training, and he's like, "What the fuck are
Who's
you guys
Christian?
doing?"
Who's Cowboy? Cowboy is a follower
Catholic,
of Jesus.
is he? Or
No, I
Christian?
don't know what he is. I don't know what denomination, but he's Christian.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And he's like, "The fuck are you guys doing?" They're like, "Oh, we're doing a Bible study. You want to come?" He's all, "No. I hope you guys are fucking praying about some sick kid somewhere and not your fucked up MMA career." And he like walks out the door, you know. And I was like, "Shit, man, like, he's gonna riffle some feathers here." But it's kind of true, you know. Like I don't. If I was hardcore religion, I'm not gonna like, "Dear Lord, please let Atlas Flooring have a good month."
Yeah.
He does not. He shouldn't care. And if he does, it's even, if there is God and he does care that much, then that's even shows you how more fucked up things are, you know? So that's what I think.
So if there is a God, you don't think he should care about you?
Oh, me more than anyone. Because I'm the most important person in the world.
So he should. So if he cares about you, he should care about Atlas Flooring, though.
Right. But he should not care about, no, he shouldn't.
No.
That's up to you. Like,
If that
there's
affects
God,
you.
Yeah,
in a
but
big
I
way.
also made the choice to do that,
Right.
you know? So I have all these bad business practices, but I'm a good Christian, so I should, so my store should be
Don't be a
successful.
hypocrite and then ask for God's help.
No,
yeah.
well, and
That's
I mean,
Yes, Lisa, you hit the nail on the head. It's the most narcissistic thing.
yeah, he
Right.
says
Fucking
he
word.
says this all the time. Yeah.
It's the most
So that-
narcissistic thing that's
that does
ever
bother
existed.
me, that part of it, you know, and I don't know where to draw the line, but that's it.
All right.
All right.
Saint and sinner. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.